Okay, what I wanted to share shortly with you is regarding a little more about how we tend to create reality and how perception works. When an external event occurs, what is really happening is that um, there's an inner event that is happening, that is being, that would tend to what I call that we would tend to project onto the external event, meaning that I would interpret it in a certain way, which means that I am not exactly experiencing that external event, but what I'm experiencing is really the inner event that is matching that external event. For instance, if something were to happen, I would tend to color it in with the inner event, with what I am feeling and what that is triggering in me, if you wish. So then you would get that a lot of people, several people would be looking at the same event, but then they would be basically experiencing the event, interpreting it in a different way. I wanted to use that to show that that what is really happening thus is a kind of a unconscious synchronicity, because the outer event has to be matched by the inner event for it to, as it were, work. If the outer event and what is intended by it does not match the inner event or the interpretation of it, then there would be what you would call like a mismatch. It wouldn't really happen. It takes both the inner and the outer event to click or to match each other for it to like be a deal, if you wish. So now let's turn this around, because let's experience this in terms of not the victim of the experience, the event, meaning that what is being triggered in me is coming up, triggered by the outer event, but actually what is happening in real time is that I have a certain inner experience, and I'm by not owning it as being mine, if I'm always like externalizing it, rejecting the fact that I always feel like the pariah and the outer circle rejected one, what will appear, what will manifest outside of me is are situations that will match that. So outside of me will manifest a situation in which someone else would be, as it were, put on a pedestal, and I would be the one that would be rejected or neglected. So the external event is going to match the inner event. So then I will selectively not only interpret, but I will engineer the facts outside there that are going to match my feelings and the content, the projections. So just think about this in terms of a man that is constantly feeling that his wife is going to go away with someone else. Then you will select those facts that are going to like validate your feelings, and then this is the way we tend to create and sustain situations outside of us that are actually matching inner feelings. This is what this is really the fabric of reality at the outer rung of what I call the self. If we conceive of everything in terms of self, then this outer rung of reality is then we are really caught in this reactive mode of reacting to these external situations that we are ourselves coloring in or conceiving. And I think that this is also at the same time the nature of the reason why we have seen that so many events that have been staged, or if you wish planned, have been pre-publicized before they happen. For instance, we have now taken notice of incredible amounts of footage alluding to a 9/11 event in cartoons and in movies and in videos, and it's just amazing how much of that has been indeed pre-published. So my theory is that what is really happening is that in order for an external event to be able to happen, it has to be, if you wish, pre-programmed or pre-created in the consciousness, in the unconscious of people at a collective scale. And when this happens, then you get that there's an inner event, content, that then matches the external content. If not, it could not happen. This is my point for today. If not, it seems that if we were to be fully cognizant, aware of our inner content, and to not be externalizing it, then the external event that would match that inner content seems to not be able to then occur. Well, that it would not be able to occur, that there must be a kind of a match or a deal between the unconscious and the external events for things to happen. Like if this person, this gentleman, were to be able to deal internally with the insecurity feelings and the feelings of abandonment, then the external matching event would not be able to occur because it would not fit the way I deeply feel about myself. So when we do the work of touching the shadow and we move on to the deeper levels of the onion or the self, where at those deeper levels we find complete different content, a different self-concept or a different pattern, then the external world cannot occur anymore in these terms. That the external world is able to occur or is occurring in terms of the unconscious content that is in me and that has not surfaced to awareness as being a part of me. This is why when we start to do the work of the touching the shadow and start to become aware of these unconscious patterns that we, by virtue of their unawareness or unconsciousness, project outward, that we basically cancel out the karma or these patterns that, as Jung said, that what is not become aware of inside will occur outside as fate. This is, I believe, why those of us that continue to evolve towards the deeper level layers of the onion or the self, which is obviously deeper frequencies in reality towards the wave. This is why to that group, what I call the false timeline is not going to be able to manifest in their lives, because the inner content is not anymore matching that outer content. There must be a separation. The lady that is not anymore pre-programmed unconsciously by the victim pattern because, for instance, of child abuse, the men that would be able to match that program, meaning men that would victimize her and abuse her, would not be accepted into her timeline anymore. This is a little attempt to understand the way reality really occurs by including, not only including, but by recasting the flow of events, not anymore in terms of a victim, but in terms of the way we are generating reality, and by realizing that what is appearing into our reality is always a function of the state we are in. So not only do we tend to perceive things, experience reality in terms of the state we are in, but that's also the way reality will tend to occur into our life. That's the real law of attraction, if you wish. This is why the decompression work of the shadow work and connecting at the unconscious level to a new pattern will eventually changes what is the probability outside of us. And this is how the two timelines are going to separate from each other, because the old timeline is not going to be able to occur in the lives of those that have been decompressed by the shadow work. Thank you for this short moment.